It seems pretty fitting that this would just all come down to the goaltenders. But that was awesome. The Flames bounce back from a shutout loss. They get a single point in the shootout on the second half of a back-to-back in a truly, truly, truly entertaining hockey game. It's Cami and Pike on Afterburner here to break down the 3-2 shootout loss to the Anaheim Ducks. Of course, we're brought to you, as always, by Bet365. Whatever your bet is, never ordinary at Bet365. And download the app and get on the game using the code NATION. And while you're at it, hit up the Superchat to support Youth Centers of Calgary and have your thoughts, questions, and concerns heard, whether they're relevant or not. Tell whatever you want. We'll talk about it. And it supports a great cause. Youth Centers of Calgary, a place where kids are welcome and accepted as they are, a place where they get a break from the chronic stress that is the reality for a lot of young people. But Pike, this was wild. Honestly, this is the best compromise win you could have at this point of year. Team Tank is happy. You didn't get 2 points. People who just want to see a good game and see the Flames get some wins. This is what you get. You get the loser point against the only Pacific Division team that has more wins than losses at that point. How dire is that stat? But I think for Calgary, it's also a sign of what good things can happen with young talent. That's kind of what this road trip through California is like right now. You look at tonight, there are 4 impact guys on Anaheim who are recent top 5 picks in Gauthier, Seneca, Carlson, and McTavish.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at California as sort of the ghost of Christmas past, present, and future for the Flames, to ascribe a metaphor to it, San Jose Sharks have gone through their pain. They're almost out of their pain. And if you look at their roster, holy crap, Michael Misa is their second line center. He's quite good. Obscure Olympic forward Macklin Celebrini is fairly good. Their blue line's pretty fun. Their goaltending's pretty the Sharks have a lot of fun players. They have some more guys coming in their system, and they're on the upswing. The Ducks have already been through their pain. I believe on the broadcast it was mentioned, they haven't had the playoffs for 7 years. And this year they're on track to snap that 7-year pain streak, and they're doing it based on some damn fine young players. This is a fun game to watch. Cutter Gauthier, originally a Philadelphia Flyers prospect, did not work out there, but they managed to flip him, and Philadelphia got some players, got a player they like in that swap, and so did the Ducks. And so, I know there's always some consternation about who might the Flames get. Do the Flames have too much of a certain type of player in their system? And just the Anaheim Ducks are a good example of just draft a bunch of interesting young players, give them some runway to develop, and let them loose. I mean, yeah, this was the Ducks are what the Flames want to be like when they grow up. They have a lot of young, fun players. They're not completely bereft of older players who can sort of show young guys the way, but it's not like they're a bunch of, it's not an AARP meeting where they have so many gray hairs in the team that you're like, okay, they're going to have a lineup for the cold tub after this game. No, they got a bunch of guys that probably still need to pay that extra dumb fee to rent a car. And you know what? That's what's driving them right now. The old guys are, giving them guidance, but the Ducks are driven by the younger players right now, and it's really fun to watch.
Don't talk to me about gray hairs. I have a mild panic attack every time I see Sidney Crosby with the salt and pepper going on now. No.
Yeah, Sidney Crosby is 2 years younger than me.
I'm not going to do that math right now. I am still sick. I can't do it. I can't. I won't. I went to school for words. But I also thought Calgary's young guys looked great. Listen, it came down to, in the end, Gridden beat the goalie, not the post. Oh, well, now he might have a better player coming up through the system for him to play with. But let's get into how this whole thing shook out. It was also an extra time affair the last time these teams met. And right off the opening draw, we got a taste of some of the bad blood that was still sticking around from that. Cooley gets snowed by Beckett Seneca, basically right off the opening draw. Set the tone for the whole night.
Beckett Seneca, who, for those of you just joining us, in the last time these teams played at the palatial, historic Scotiabank Saddledome against Vezina Trophy vote getter Dustin Wolf, put up a hattie on him, including the overtime winner. Beckett Seneca, very good hockey player, and he knows exactly what he's doing. He, if you're coming up against a group that you're like, we put up a hat trick on this guy, the better goalie theoretically in his own building. What better way to welcome him in Anaheim than to give him a bit of a snow shower to show him, yeah, this night might not go your way. So well played. He's not afraid to wear the black hat.
No, sir. But then, we love our Ryans here all around. Ryan Lomberg, the man you are. We love seeing the fourth line step up. And I mean, Lomberg does not get the goal, but he does have an amazing centering pass. And Farabee gets the opening goal of the night, just bearing down on the net and redirecting it high. And you even have Beecher.
And said unsavory things about our neighbors to the north. And yeah, I think a lot of people have a lot of time for Ryan Lomberg. Just and as good a dude as he is in the room and around the community, he's also a pretty good hockey player. He is no, I think we could say he's no Beckett Seneca in terms of his offensive consistency, but in terms of his smarts, I mean, he knows what he needs to do to be effective. And this is a good example. He just makes a smart play, throws it on the net, and Joel Farabee makes a very nice play on the receiving end of that to give the Flames the lead.
I mean, you say unsavory, some would say delicious. Takes us to the second period. Flames are 0-2 on the power play at this point. Doesn't look great, but then Mr. Sharangovich, come on down, just flexes his release, finds the corner off the iron and in, and Ball, who, that guy went through it tonight, but Ball and Frost.
Let's say hit and miss, and more often miss than hit. And this, if they're gonna change their fortunes in coming years, it's gonna rely on guys like Yegor Sharangovich who can do things like this when they have time and space to just say, screw it, I'm gonna throw a shot on net and maybe something cool will happen. And this is a good example. He could have made 14 passes and then tried to razzle dazzle the Ducks, and instead he goes, I'm just gonna try to beat him. And shocker, he beat him.
Big shocker. Well, it's also good to see that response from the players after they get called out like they were by Huska with their fourth time getting shut out this season against LA on Saturday night. That's part of it.
Yeah. And I think, when you talk about guys, the commitment to the details and the checking, I mean, there has been stretches this year and stretches of Yegor Sharangovich's career in general where he could have eggs in his pockets and they would be intact at the end of the game. Like he's not Ryan Lomberg, he's not Blake Coleman, he's, and I don't think anyone really expects him to be, but when he has that extra bit of snarl in his game and he's willing to sort of, shove a guy off a puck or, throw a check to give himself a little bit of extra space, he can be really effective. And I think, in this game, like we're pointing at the power play goal, but I think in general at 5-on-5, he got switched over to that line with Morgan Frost and Morgan Frost and I forget who the other, Matvei Gridin. That's the other one. Obscure Russian and quasi-Russian players. And yeah, I think it was a nice fit for them, and I think he had one of his better games of the last 6-7 weeks of games. We're not including the Olympics, but yeah, he was good tonight, and the goal was well deserved.
I got so excited about seeing the Flames power play goal, I completely skipped over Cutter Gauthier's 27th goal of the year.
This is such a weird one.
Look at the heat map of the Duck shots. They are trying so much stuff from behind the net, just the weirdest spots. Very entertaining, but Devin Cool.
I feel for him.
Yeah, especially seeing that he's like top 3 in the league in save percentage with guys who have, I think it was more than 15 starts is the measuring stick. Oh, too good. And then it was a multi-goal game for Mr. Cutter Gauthier. We'll see if we have, we'll talk about Cooley a little bit more here, see if we can get like a highlight reel of just what he did going. But just power play one-timer. Gauthier gets it done. Just over 9 minutes left to play, and that would be enough to send us to overtime.
It's pretty textbook. You just try to blast it inside the near post before the goalie can get across, and you try simple things, but you execute them well, and it tends to go well for you.
Yeah, like there was some really good puck movement tonight. That also kind of reminded me, obviously Coronado was in a different spot, but when The Flames are on the power play, and Gridden finds Coronado just parked in the back. Like Coronado was not expecting it to come that quick, and that was the big like, how did that not go in moment?
Yeah, this will sound like me being critical, but it's meant to be a compliment. So you know how the big conversation amongst folks about players on the Flames getting used to Zane Parek's passing has been he's so damn good at it, and the puck gets to you so quickly that the players almost have to adjust and go, oh, it's here now, okay, and then once they're used to that, I think we're going to see some really fun things happen. I think we've seen similar things with Matt Gridden at the NHL level this year where, the pucks he's so crisp and so direct with his passing that and it's been mostly on the power play and mostly poor Coronado going like, oh, damn, it's here. This was his body. That was his body language on that pass where it's just like, it gets to him and it hits the heel of the stick and bounces on him because he just isn't expecting it, so he can't receive it quite as well as he wanted to, and then it just bloops through. And once they get used to Matt Gridden's passing, like that power play could get scary good. Imagine, if you will, a power play with Zane Parekh up top directing traffic, and then down low on the sidewall, someone like Matt Gridden also making those kind of passes. That sounds fun to me. And then maybe a couple of guys who can do one-timers on the other side. I don't know. I'm not a power play coach, but I think you could, with the available personnel on the Flames roster right now, you could put together a pretty good power play. And who knows, maybe next year when they have perhaps slightly different personnel.
I'll wait till that new building is open. It's going to be good, but even the overtime tonight, that was a banger. And again, it's just like Cooley and Dostal just taking turns, like highlight reel. One of my favorites was where Cooley robbed Seneca, who had a bit of a weird break, but Seneca thought that he was going to hold it, but instead, like, Cooley had the wherewithal to not cover it and just go to make the play right away and try to take Seneca out of it. And it led to a good opportunity at the other end. And that's where, like, Kadri was showing up too. He's like, all right, I can still play with the kids. He had like the toe drag backhand in overtime. He's trying to do some stuff from behind the net, going for the bank shots. That was a great overtime. My goodness.
Yeah, and it was the kind of one where it's like there's flashes. Like, the Flames haven't been a great overtime team this year. There's been flashes of stuff where you're like, huh, Zach Whitecloud's out there? Okay, let's try it out. And bless his heart, I've seen a lot of Zach Whitecloud. I didn't know Zach Whitecloud had this in him, but he's been seeing him in overtime is kind of fun. I mean, I think we're almost at the time in overtime where, like, if you're Huska, maybe turn it into a TV event where you're just like, all right, names out of a hat, folks. You bring in some fan from the stands, be like, pull out 3 names. Tell me who's going to be on the, or maybe if you want to have a defenseman on, you're like, take someone from the defenseman bucket and 2 names from the forward bucket and let's go nuts. Like, I don't know. I think this is the time of year you want to get weird, and it almost worked out for the Flames. They had that last look from Kadri. Oh goodness, that was a good look.
It was nice, and then you play to the buzzer, right? It was, I think, was it Paling who had that last chance? I think
it was Go.
Like his skate blade caught it just to send it like right through the crease, but that's where Frost got called on interference because his stick was caught in the net. And Trouba, obviously isn't going to win a limbo contest anytime soon.
Yeah, and in that situation, I mean, letter of the law is if he doesn't have the puck, he can't get in his way. And so if you can say, yeah, but the net had my stick, and if I'm the ref, I go, yeah, I don't care. Drop your stick then. The whole thing is you can't impede him, so get out the way. And unfortunately, he didn't, and then he got a penalty. And then we had a very frenzied last 24.6 seconds of overtime. And then
it was a buzzer beater save too.
Very nice. A nice glove save on a guy who was probably thinking, all right, Seneca got a hat trick against these boys last month. I'm going to get one here on home ice and it'll be awesome. And then we'll have a cool photo of me holding up pucks and he can hold up his 3 pucks. And then we can lay a challenge out in the room for the next game. And unfortunately, their best laid plans did not work out because he made the save. So sorry, Cutter Gauthier, you had to settle for 2.
I cannot believe that the Ducks are 7-0 in shootouts now this season.
don't know. I could see it.
This is what you predicted at the start of the season, undefeated in shootouts.
I mean, look at some of the names they got. Like they have some guys who have some razzle dazzle to their game, and the Flames, they got some players who were pretty decent at it. But I would argue that in terms of if you want to, it's called a skills competition for a reason. This is the home run derby where we got to see some dingers, and it ended up being some nice shots from both teams, and then a nice move and then a post, unfortunately.
Yeah. So Leo Carlson scores with the backhand deke. Kadri ties it up, and he did like the speed up, slow down right. He went it like straight in, not messing around, coming up the wing, slows it up, and just hicks it high blocker side. So
I don't have much negative to say about Nazem Kadri's game. I've enjoyed covering Nazem Kadri. I'm of the mindset that I'll probably cover him to the end of the season, and then we'll see. I don't think that they have. It feels like an off-season trade. It feels like there's enough weird stuff with no trade lists and cap retention, and probably having to take some money back in some way, that this will be complicated. And I don't think complicated stuff really works well on a deadline. But I mean, I don't know. 2 retention slots open up on July 1, and you're allowed to make trades all summer. So, but he's been good. He's been very good. That was a great shootout goal.
Yeah. I mean, Mason McTavish was also very nice. I guess has not missed in a shootout this season. And he does the reverse of everybody else. He goes in pretty slow. Like he's barely moving, and then he picks it up, fakes the backhand, and it coolly bites, and like there's just enough there to get it in the 5-hole, as they say. And the call winds wide, beats Dustall, but not that post. And that was all she wrote. I'm sure Arby's been sweating that I haven't read this super chat yet, so let's bring
do we have the stat line for him? Do I want to pull it up before we read it?
Pike, why would you compare Rhett to Weegar? Rhett was a solid 360 man, character player, and high hockey IQ. Weegar looks like Hess skating in a sandbox and will be the 2026 Green Jacket winner at -33.
I mean, right shot defenseman who wear letters. They play the same position. They play in the same team. I don't know. Why not compare them? Yeah, I don't know.
That's all you're going to give him.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you want me to say? Do you want me to? Are you trying to make me disparage individual players?
No, but honestly, like, RB, good for you, because this is a man who can talk so much that, like, maybe we need a safe word where it's like we can't do a tangent on a tangent. And Pike read your comment and said, "Nah, man, I will give you 15 words."
I will also point out in a tight game with only 2 even strength goals either way, 25-08 time on ice, even. I don't know, he was fine. Weegar led the Flames in time on ice. He was fine. I think he's been good with ball, but I mean, Kevin Ball is sort of showing so far you could put a lot of different players with Kevin Ball and he'd give you good minutes. So I mean, I'm glad Kevin Ball came back for the third period, by the way, because I did not like seeing him get taken puck to the face.
Yeah, what did they say? I thought they said on the broadcast that shot was over 100K an hour. Clearly,
he had like a couple of stitches, like right here, and that's it.
Face. Was that a stitch or was that the super glue?
It might have been. I don't know. It was some sort of a. It might have been like one of those butterfly things where they sort of hold your face together or something. But yeah,
it's like we will deal with this later.
Kevin Ball, take care of yourself. They're probably going to need you to play a lot down the stretch.
How high are these people shooting these shots that it's hitting Kevin Ball in the face? That's like 7 feet off the ice to get him there.
Pretty close. The most fun thing.
Like, what is that shot? Like, oh, if the net was 2 feet taller, they'd all be sorry.
Every time we do pressers or scrums with Klapka or Kevin Ball, we're all sort of talking at this level, and then you're like just staring up the whole time. It's been a few games where you've done them back to back, and it's like you get your shoulder workout holding your microphone or your recorder up all the way up to Kevin Ball's face level.
That's my life. That's every interview.
See, this is why we love interviewing Ryan Longberg, because in addition to being a delightful human being, he's like the same height as, non-athlete people. So we don't have to do a lot of straining to record his stuff. So
we had a kid at the WHL Prospects game, 6'8".
Ooh, name drop. Who is it?
Sean Burek.
Ooh, any good?
Sean Burek on the Penticton Vs.
Didn't Seattle just sign someone whose name sounded suspiciously like Riker Evans today?
Ryden
from
Evers.
Penticton?
Ryden Evers. Yeah. Yeah,
it's going to be confusing for the registry.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of stuff coming through the next couple of days here. We'll get to it in a minute, but March 1st is the first day that teams can start to sign players to contracts that will take effect for the 2026-27 season. Yeah, fun fact about Burek, he lost his fantasy football pool this year, and his punishment is to run a marathon. And I'm sure he
like a legit marathon.
Like an actual marathon. I do wonder if he gets drafted and a team will like write him a note to be like, do not make our prospect do this. Not worth it. Not worth it. But anyway, I want to give a shout out to another person who is obscenely tall. You know who I'm talking about, Pike. Old Derek Newman. I took a picture of him next to a garage door to prove that a truck would fit, and it wasn't that small a garage door. So if you're buying or selling a house, condo, townhome, or duplex in Calgary, you got to call Derek. That's DERRICK. Over $100 million in real estate sold in Calgary. And he has a really no pressure, consultative approach to achieving your real estate goals. Also, long-suffering Massive Flames fan. He shares your pain. He does note not fully on Team Tank, but he gets it. He gets a lot of things. So you can visit the new website, DerrickNewmanGroup.com. That's DERRICK Newmangroup.com, or call him at 403-619-6661. And we got another super chat to get to. Gordon. Hey guys, much love with our goalie tandem. Thinking we will land around 5th to 7th unless we win the lottery. What are your thoughts on Carson Carels? I'm a big Carson Carels fan. I think there's people have this really romantic image in their heads of what a hockey player looks like. I think if people paint a picture, they're like, oh, it's this really honest farm kid skating on the sloughs and the prairies in winter. And the reality nowadays is it's probably a pretty rich kid from a city. Carson Carels is that guy. And I don't think I can put it any better than former Flames coach Jim Playfair, because he's actually worked with Carson Carels a lot, particularly on the defensive side of his game. So when Playfair got up to Prince George, didn't know the players really, he's just bombing in for his first camp. And Mark Lamb goes around and says okay, what do you think of this guy, this guy, this guy? They get to Carels, and Jimmy says he's going to make $10 million a year playing in the NHL. And they just trust him so much defensively. His defensive game is what Carson kind of prides himself on the most. And it's a big reason why he got taken to World Juniors and was the second youngest player there. And the offense has really started to come from that. He does not sacrifice a lot of his positioning to try to get offensive opportunities. He's been pretty money.
I'll say this. In an organization that's pretty heavy on puck carrying righties, you need some lefties that can do a lot of different things and balance things out. And if his bread and butter is his defensive game, and you look at his plus minus and you look at sort of how he plays the game, and you go, I could see that. But he's big. He's one of the younger players in the draft class. He turns 18 the week before the draft, or the week of the draft. So you're getting somebody who's got a lot of years of development ahead of him potentially, but he's already played 2 full years in the dub. So you're going to have if you're trying to project him, there's a big body of work. He's played a lot of high-end hockey. He's played a lot of high-end international events. That just means that you got the ability to earn trust quickly, and you have the ability to make an impression on coaches who are deciding who they're taking to these kind of events. And so that just means you don't have to fix a lot of his game. Like, what do you want? You probably you'd love to see him bulk up a little bit. You always want to see young guys work on their skating, but he has so many things well. And there's, from the scouting reports I've read, virtually no holes in his game. So, I don't know if he'll be I don't think we're going to be talking about him getting 100 points in the Western League or anything anytime soon. I don't know if that's his game, but he's got some really good numbers this year, and he feels like some
guy that drags you into a game, even when it looks like you're out.
Yeah, and if you're trying to
Wall Street going for a while there too.
If you're trying to set culture of a team, it seems like the kind of guy that an honest farm boy who can also be big and mean at times. Yeah, I think we've seen a few decent teams built that way.
Absolutely. We were talking earlier. You love to see Eric Francis break some news mid-game.
Yeah, I was hoping. I'm like, oh god, are we gonna have something to talk about in this game? And then the game turned out to be good, so my worries were a little bit.
There's so much to talk about tonight, actually.
Where are we going next?
Well, take us through what Francis was talking about, World Cup.
Oh yeah, so our buddy Eric Francis of Sportsnet broke some news on the broadcast. So it's really two-part news. Part one of the news is that Gary Bettman and Deputy Commissioner Bill Daly are going to be in Calgary on Monday to visit the Scotia Place construction site, gawk up at the steel. I'm sure they'll take some cute selfies wearing hard hats, as people do when they're visiting construction sites. And then they're going to meet with Flames ownership and just sort of, chew the fat, see how things are going. Everyone's feeling cool. The other news he broke, and it's related news, is that the Calgary is a shortlist finalist for the North American site of the 2028 World Cup of Hockey. We haven't had a World Cup of Hockey since 2016. All the games then were hosted in Toronto, and it was fine. I mean, I don't know. People at that point were like, so we're going back to the Olympics, right? And then, they awkwardly changed the subject, and here we are now. But so the plan is they're going to have one site in Europe, one home city in Europe to host 4 teams, 4 other teams to be hosted in North America. And then my understanding is the plan is the elimination games, which I believe will be 2 semifinals, and the final games, an extra 3 games, will be in the North American city. It really starts to look like Scotia Place / Calgary will probably be hosting that event in February of 2028. It is now unprecedented. When the palatial then Olympic Saddledome opened in 1983, in the winter of 1984, as in during the first season, we hosted some Canada Cup games, and then a couple years later, we hosted a few more Canada Cup games in advance of the 88 Olympics. So the idea of Calgary has gone through a lot of cartwheeling and mechanizations and fretting and toing and froing to get to this point where we basically have like 75% of a building at this point. They just need to enclose it and fill it in with stuff, but they've done enough stuff that it's there's no way this isn't going to happen now, because we have to finish the building at this point. You've done enough stuff, you got to finish it. And once you finish it, you got to put some stuff in it. And
well, we've heard Bettman say that Calgary is not getting an event until you get a new building. And we were both there when, was it the Dallas series when
yes.
Bettman got stuck in the elevator at the Saddledome?
Yes. That elevator didn't break. It broke this year. I was not in it, but the folks who were in it have some fond memories of that elevator. But yeah, I think the idea is I don't know.
Remember, we all got out. A bunch of people
I was already upstairs. I was already upstairs because that was the game with Rasmus Anderson got kicked out.
No, we were going down. Everyone was going down to the media room, and a bunch of the doors opened back up because the elevator.
Okay.
People get out, and the door. Bettman stays in. Obviously, gets back in, and as the doors are closing, he's like, "You guys need a new building." And
we know, Gary.
Everyone just groaned. Everyone who was just standing there just.
We know. But yeah, it's when you get new stuff. For those of you who are unfamiliar with, for those of you who haven't, case in point, gone through various blueprints of various buildings, and yeah, that is the Saddledome blueprints behind me because I'm a giant nerd. Scotia. The cool thing is, so Scotia Place will have the main NHL ice sheet. Duh. It will be regulation. I've been asked to confirm this from people who watched Olympic hockey. Yes, it will be the regulation sheet, but they'll also have a second regulation sheet in the SO community rink, which will be used for practice rinks for the Flames, Hitmen, Roughnecks, etc., which means that if you're, say, hosting an international event that has 4 teams concurrently hosted in one spot, one team can use the Flames room, one team can use the road room for the NHL. They'll have road locker rooms for the AHL, home locker room for the AHL, Hitman locker room, Roughneck. They'll have plenty of locker room space, which means you could plunk in 4 teams and they'd all have enough space and they'd all have some separate gyms and stuff so they can, do prep stuff. And you wouldn't have to have too much overlap between teams. So logistically, it wouldn't be a giant headache. You could run multiple games all the time and still have a practice sheet that you can also use for practice and whatnot. And so say you get to the point where you could run the whole rink and then you could have the Flames practicing on the ice sheet while games are going on, potentially, depending on how locker rooms are allocated. So from sheer logistics, it makes a lot of sense. It's a chance to sort of, give Calgary a shiny thing to celebrate the new building opening. And it's something that Edmonton wouldn't be able to host. So, Calgary in February, there's a chance you'll have a Chinook. Edmonton in February, probably not. And I know for a fact, like the folks at the Stampede have been, they've been chomping at the bit too to sort of help out with some big events. We've seen the BMO Center. It's beautiful. They think they can potentially put, some outdoor ice there. So let's just say there is a World Cup here in February 2028. You could have like bonfires and hot chocolate and, outdoor rinks and stuff like that immediately outside of Scotia Place in the BMO Center canopy and have a lot of stuff going out there. So,
well, Moncton was able to do that when they had Hockey Day out there.
Yeah, it could be something really fun, but also something that looks really photogenic for when you're trying to get other events. So we'll see what happens. Francis are also reporting that they're going to be announcing the host venues in the next, I think, in 2 weeks was this phraseology, which would mean somewhere around the 16th of March. So yeah, 2 weeks from tomorrow, I think, is sort of what's being ballparked. So keep your eyes out. And it's Eric, I'll give a shout out to Francis. He's had some good scoops this year. He had the Flames are going to release Perec to the World Juniors. He had a few other things too. He's had a good year. He's had a good year, and this one is just the latest one that makes you go, "Oh, damn, that's a good scoop." So good scoop.
I mean, people love to give Francis a hard time. I think Francis also likes to play the villain. He's an awesome dude. Yeah. We also have a Hot Poop jumping in with
what do you got, Hot Poop?
It really lives up to the name, I will say. No one gives a crap about the World Cup. It's just a cash grab for the NHL and NHLPA. How dare you? I loved Team North America so much. I loved having a Team Europe. Like, you got to give Leon Draisaitl a chance in games like those. Look at who was on the team, like Chara, Kopitar.
I think it'll be more. I think the scuttlebutt now is sort of more traditional hockey countries, so like the Four Nations countries. Plus, I think maybe a handful of other ones. I think Slovakia is a maybe, depending on if Russia's illegal war of aggression in Ukraine continues. But at the risk of sounding political, I would love if Russia was not in Ukraine and able to therefore participate in hockey events, because I don't know. Don't invade countries. That's just my stance. Don't invade countries, and then your players can participate in really fun events. But if you're invading countries, maybe people won't want to play with you. If you're a meanie, people won't want to be your friend on the playground.
Simple as that, folks. Simple as that. RB's coming through with another super chat. Both Dallas and Colorado have the cap space for Nas. Why wouldn't they trade for him now? Him, Coleman, and Uyghur should all be traded. The Biggle.
3 years left at $7 million a year. He's 35. He'll be 38 when his deal's done. Here's how I conceptualize trades and non-trades. Allocation of risk. You know why Rasmus Anderson was a relatively easy deal to be done? If you're Vegas and you make the trade, you're thinking we could probably re-sign him. But what if he sucks? If he sucks, you're not carrying a lot of risk. Worst case, you try him out, doesn't work out, you lose him for nothing. Boo-hoo, you at least tried. Blake Coleman, 34. He's a bit banged up because that's how he plays, but he's only under contract this year, next year. So if you trade for Blake Coleman and he gets banged up or he's terrible, you don't have to hold on for him very long. Nazem Kadri is older and has more money and a longer contract, so there's more risk involved. So it just seems like because of that, there's more complexities. You're basically asking Dallas, do you want to take on $21 million and a guy who's going to be 36 next year? We hope so, because it's your problem now. And that's the kind of thing that, GMs are basically just trying to maximize the talent level on their team while minimizing the downside risk. So, we'll see what they do, but a lot of things could happen. And again, Nazem Kadri, very good hockey player. We hope that the bottom does not fall out of his game, because I don't know, he seems to really care a lot about playing hard and winning. So I enjoy that.
You betcha. And you got to follow up here too, Pike. If Colorado or Dallas wins a cup, do you think they care?
I mean, eventually, let's do it this way. Look at Florida. Florida has so much weird stuff they have to do every year now, because they got no picks and they got no prospects and they're up against the cap, but they also had 2 parades. So if you have parades, what's the old saying, like banners fly forever? Yeah, you're probably going, who cares? We'll figure it out in the summer. We're going to have a parade. But there are 31 teams that don't have parades, and there's 15 teams that make the playoffs that don't have parades. And hell, if you look at, say, let's just point at the Central Division, Minnesota's a wagon, Dallas is a wagon, Colorado's a wagon. And they have some other teams in that division who are pretty decent too. Winnipeg this year notwithstanding. I still can't understand Winnipeg at all. But this way, for how good those top 3 teams in the Central are, 2 of them, potentially all 3 of them, won't win the Stanley Cup this year. So as much as you're like, oh yeah, take the big swing, get Quinn Hughes, maybe he won't resign. Take the big swing, add Nazem Kadri. Take the big swing, add forget who the hell else is going on. But yeah, there's downside risk, and if you take a crack at it and you win, great, you'll figure it out later. If you take a crack at it and you don't win, then you have to figure out how to regroup and manage it the year after. And so that's the big thing. Remember, I'll just point this out, and I know you don't plan for these kind of things. Remember how much of a goddamn mess the Flames had to deal with in the summer of 2022 after they were 2nd or 3rd overall, and they added players and they went on that run. They're like, screw it, burn the boats. We're going to see what we can do. And they held on to the UFAs and they held on to their RFAs and they went for broke. And then they got knocked out in the 2nd round by Edmonton. And then they went, oh God, we got to figure out what the hell contractually we do with all of these guys. There's always a price to be paid.
Why? What went wrong?
I don't know. I sort of blanked out that summer. It's all kind of fuzzy to me now, but
But it's going to be like this all week as we lead up to the trade deadline, and a great place to go down your Soros or just follow along with the action. Head over to the Unicorn. 2 locations. Do you want to go to 4th? Do you want to go to the 8th? Go to both. They've got it all. And especially on the TV, they got hockey, football, soccer, UFC. They got all the fun games from Golden Tee and Buck Hunter to pinball and darts. You can't get much better than those game day $7 pints of Molson Canadian. So go check them out. 4th Avenue and 8th Avenue, 4th Street. So I'm from a small town that didn't have a lot of streets and avenues, so I never learned the difference between the 2. Honestly, same about daylight savings. My hometown doesn't do daylight savings, so I still don't get it.
Yeah, no one really gets it. I think it's because it's the thing we were trying to win World War I or something. Someone explained to me, I said,
someone told me it's about farmers, but I'm like, everyone here is a farmer.
I think it's about saving fuel oil during World War I so we could beat the Kaiser, and I guess we won. I don't know. Folks, the thing I want to see people do on deadline day while the rest of us are running around like lunatics, start your day at one Unicorn and end at the other one. Go for lunch at one Unicorn and then amble over to the other one. I think that could be a fun thing that people do. It'll be a long day, and the Unicorn will do their best to make that day exciting, because who knows if the GMs will, but the Unicorn will do their best.
Hell yeah, brother. Who could be celebrating there tonight? The old Mount Royal Cougars. I mean, I say it all the time, like Canada West hockey, Usports hockey is the most underrated level of hockey in Canada. Tonight we had the finale best of 3 all Calgary showdown between the Calgary Dinos and MRU Cougars. Cougars took it 2-1. Crazy. Jaden Weens got the power play goal in the third to go ahead after Calgary forced the deciding game tonight. So they're going to go on to face the Saskatchewan Huskies, reigning Canada West champions, Usports national bronze medalists last year. So Mount Royal might have a chance to go back to the Usports Cup. Last time they were there, they set a record for the longest game in Usports history, 5 overtimes.
I'm looking at the roster. I'm like, do I recognize any names here? Yes, yeah. Ethan Bonaventura, one of the Cougars goalies
there tonight. Yeah,
what a fun name. Yeah, no, it's Usports. It's fun hockey. You know, you'll see some familiar faces and familiar names, and the game's usually eventful.
Yeah, it's huge. A lot of fun. All right, let's take a gander at the road ahead here because it is busy. It is going to stay busy. How anyone's body holds up through this, I do not know.
It's called load management, Cami.
Which is what is happening to Zane Perek tonight.
Or maybe we'll start players will start, they're in morning skate and they shout, my trade-related reasons, and then they have to be pulled out of the lineup. Are there upper body trade-related reasons or lower body trade-related reasons? That's the question.
Yeah, we gotta start doing that more. Love that.
Just shout trade-related reasons and then just sit down.
Yeah. 3-game homestand starts on Tuesday. Dallas, one of those teams that we're talking about as one of the real contenders coming out of the West, second in the Pacific. They just tied a franchise record with 8 consecutive wins. And to get that 8th win, they're without Rantanen. They don't have Rantanen. Yeah. Vaxa hints on Saturday, down 2-0 against Nashville, managed to pull out that win. So they're up next. They'll be on the second half of a back-to-back after playing in Vancouver tomorrow. Ottawa Thursday, they spanked the Maple Leafs 5-2 on Hockey Night in Canada. So 5th in the wild card rankings, led by the one and only Brady. That sign can't stop me because I can't read Kachuk.
And
Edmonton first before they get to Calgary on that road trip.
Yeah, and we'll give a cheap plug. For those of you who are based in Calgary, our old friend Julie McKenzie just released a book called Black Aces. It's very good. The Flames play Ottawa on Thursday. On Wednesday, Julian has a book event. Details are on his socials. Just go into whatever social media thing of choice and just type in the name Julie McKenzie. You can get information for it. But yeah, it's really cool. If you haven't gotten the book or read the book all the way, it's very good. It's extensively researched. And I mentioned in the acknowledgments for no reason. I basically just said, Julian, you should write a book. You'd be really good. And he said, yeah, I'll do that. So apparently that merits an acknowledgement. I don't know. I didn't help in any way. That was constructive. But I feel honor bound to
Jerome McGinley.
I feel honor bound to give him a cheap plug and say, if you have time on Wednesday night to go out and support someone who's writing who just released their first book. If you like Julian and this book does well, people will ask him to do more books. And I think more people writing more cool stuff is better for everybody. So, and if you don't care about hockey or about books, I don't know.
We can't help you.
Yeah, you're in the wrong place.
Julian will sign mine because you never signed my copy of your book.
You keep forgetting to bring it every time I see you.
All right. I'll soak that one.
Do you know who has a signed copy of my book? Eric Francis.
There you go.
Yeah, and then
also mentioned tonight, 3 members of Colorado's front office, GM Chris McFarland, assistant GM Kevin McDonald, and assistant to the GM Andrew Cogliano. We're all in Anaheim tonight, 5 days out from the deadline. So do with that what you will.
We will point out if for the tinfoil people, tinfoil hats, tip 1, Anaheim is one of the next opponents for the Colorado Avalanche. They play the Avs are in town. They play in LA on Monday and in Anaheim on Tuesday. So maybe it's just they're in the checkout the team they're going to play. But I would also point out, why would the GM need to be there? Wouldn't that just be something you send your scouts or your video coach or your coaching staff or whoever? It is kind of odd to see someone with a job title that fancy, let alone 3 of them doing so. So maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's just 3 dudes who like hockey in Southern California on a Sunday night going, oh, we could go to Disneyland. I don't know. It's dark out. Let's just go to a hockey game. Or it could be other things going on. Because
great guys chilling in the press box.
People love hockey, and I don't know. I think maybe they could have, maybe they thought the line for Splash Mountain is a little bit long. They don't want to, they were like, oh, they redid Splash Mountain. I haven't seen it yet. Oh, the line's long. Oh, I'll just go to the Ducks. Or they're there looking for someone specific. It could be both.
People contain multitudes. By the way, in the chat, Parker, book's called Black Aces. It's good. Give it a read. Love that. Also, see people talking about basketball in the chat. Playing during the pandemic. You know who else got really into basketball during the pandemic? Dustin Wolf. He can ball. He came out to the game one summer. He was shooting around with his then girlfriend, now fiance. Yeah, he drained some good shots. It was sick. But back to the road ahead.
Did he have a good jump shot, or was he more of a layup guy?
I mean, I don't know that the vert was crazy. It wasn't like his pre-game jumps, but yeah, no, he wasn't doing layups.
He looks like he's had a good range in him.
Yeah, I'm sure he could. But yeah, we'll wrap up the homestand Saturday with the Hurricanes. Will Casgray and Seth Jarvis reunite? That's what I want to know. She's from here. They're awesome. They were the funniest part of the Olympics, the best side quest of the Olympics. So that is my thoughts on the Hurricanes. Sunday off, and then we wrap it up with the road back-to-back featuring the Washington Capitals on Monday and the New York Rangers, who are doing stupendously well on Tuesday.
That's such a weird road trip too. I'll just bitch about. So they start in Washington, and then they have the 3 games in New York, which is, last year I was on that trip. They did Toronto, which I skipped, and then I did the 3 games in the New York area. The New York area travel is not bad. Like you usually stay in the same hotel for most of it, and then maybe you move to a different hotel for the Long Island game, so you're close to the airport. But then they go to Detroit at the end of that trip, which just feels kind of mean to be like, okay, well, you're already on your way home, so we're gonna throw you to go play Detroit too. I mean, I don't know. I don't make the schedule, but it seems kind of. The Flames have 2 road trips left. They have a 5-gamer and then a 6-gamer. That's mean. I don't like that. I think these road trips are mean, and they should make them either smaller or less weird. So the NHL apparently listened to me.
Dry their tears with their millions of dollars.
Yeah, and they're not a charter. It's fine. They have legroom.
You know what people call it? It's the NHL Never Hungry League. They're eating well on those charter planes.
I have heard. I've heard some very nice spreads, and then it's a great place to read a book.
Yeah,
like Black Aces, currently available in stores.
That's very natural. I love it. But that's the road ahead, brought to you by Platinum Mitsubishi, family owned and operated by lifelong Calgarians. Remember, at Platinum, the lease and finance rates start at 0.99%. You can check out the Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV, which is Canada's best-selling plug-in hybrid SUV. So get into the best-backed cars in the country with the standard 10-year powertrain warranty at Platinum Mitsubishi at 2720 Barlow Trail North. Got one more super chat here for you, Pike.
Yeah.
Who do they trade, Pike? If not Naz, who? Coleman. I think Coleman's.
They're going to trade Coleman.
Yeah. And
Steinberg,
more like use that last salary retention spot.
Yeah, I think you'd love to not have to use the retention spot on Coleman, because that way maybe you can make a move with someone else around the draft. But I think Steinberg and Francis on the Friday Flames talk, I think their thought process is definitely Coleman, and then one of the Lomberg, Hall, Hanley trio. So that seems about right. Some teams going to like having someone inexpensive that can play anywhere in your blue line, and if you're a team that wants to go on a run, and you're the Flames going, would sure love to open up a defensive spot for Rustevich the rest of the year. You'd probably be okay with getting a fourth round pick for one of those guys. You're going to get more from Coleman, of course. But,
well, if you're the Flames, wrap those guys in bubble wrap. If you're a Flames fan, get to the Dome for one of those games this week to potentially see some of these guys play their last games wearing the Flaming C.
And then come to warm up and watch all the people in media play. We're taking attendance going, who's not there? Hold on. What number is that? I don't know who the hell that is. Oh, wait, no, that's just his jersey got tucked under. Never mind. Every time. That's how we found out that Kuznetsov got traded. That's how we found out mid-game that the adorable cherub boy Jacob Pelche got traded. We're like, hey, there's one less guy on the bench than there usually is. That's weird. Wonder what happened. Oh, yeah, that's what happened. We miss you, Jacob. What a delightful human. You're just a good person.
Always great. Always great. What do you have for us on Bet365 tonight?
Well, folks, it's a weird one tomorrow. So there are 6 games. The games, for some reason, start at noon Mountain Time because there's an early game featuring, I believe, Detroit and Nashville. I don't know why it's this early. They don't let me make the schedule, but it's a weirdly early game. They also have the aforementioned Colorado-LA game. For me, I kind of like that Columbus Rangers game because Columbus a little bit cranky after letting one slip away, last game out, and they're going to be a little bit grumpy. I'm very curious what we see out of Toronto after Craig Berube sort of alluded to the fact that he can map a lot of things out tactically for the team, but if they don't have Taps' heart and they don't have Taps' head, then there's not much he can do. Yeah, so when you're head coach,
they're just going to continue to be level-headed. Fine.
Yeah,
usual over there.
So we'll see what happens. I mean, Philadelphia, they've gotten some very good goaltending from forever aflame Dan Vladar. They've gotten some timely goal scoring. A lot of things are going right for the Flyers right now, and they're playing quite good. So I kind of like the Flyers on the road. I think if you're looking for some value, I kind of like that one. But your mileage may vary. Do what you want to do. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting ones. I don't trust that early game though. The Detroit Nashville has all the makings of a kind of a sleepy one, whereas I think some of the later games will at least have a little bit more entertainment value. And oh golly, Dallas Vancouver could be ugly. I mean, Vancouver has been good.
They did go all February without a win.
And I mean, they didn't play a lot of games in February, but they still
they only played 4 games. They only played 4 games, but whatever. I think the moral of the story with the lineup for tomorrow: set your fantasy lineups early to make sure that you don't get screwed over by that early game. For the Canucks, maybe they will get their first win since January 29th.
And that's the kind of game too where
2 games since January 12th.
If you're an over/under person, like Dallas, they have no Rantanen, but they are not a thin team. If you're an over/under person, maybe take a look at that game and decide if you want to do something with that.
Games this year
in the calendar year, yeah. It's dire. And yeah, if you look at the overall standings, the Flames are, I think, 11 or 12 points ahead of Vancouver. No one's catching Vancouver. Nobody. So it's in the lottery god's hands now. But
yeah, they are 12 points up on Vancouver now.
But yes, so that's our Bet365. Use the code NATION.
But hey, you know what, folks? Vancouver let Matthew Tkachuk slip to Calgary.
Holy Levy, what are you doing?
Finns were really hot then. Finns were hot for a couple of years there.
Mistakes were made.
Oh, yeah, no. Don't sweat that much about Vancouver probably winning the lottery.
There's one team that one organization that for whatever reason just steps on rakes. And I don't know. I think Jim Rutherford has had a great career. He's, I think, in the aggregate, a very smart person, and he probably has some amazing stories. I imagine if you sat down for dinner with Jim Rutherford, he'd have he could just regale you, and you'd be like, my goodness, Jim Rutherford, this is fantastic. Tell me more. I don't know if it's in the best interest of what the Canucks are trying to do to have him be as honest as he has been in the media as often as he has been. It's they have a decent enough hand at poker, and he's sort of stepping behind them going, hey, look, this guy's got a couple jacks right here. Wonder what he's going to do. Like, just no, come on. Just don't tell us anything. Just there's something to be said for mystery. But yeah, I would love to have dinner with Jim Rutherford because I'm pretty sure he has amazing stories. This is not a disparagement of Jim Rutherford, the person. It's just Jim Rutherford.
Stories.
He's got some bangers.
Oh. Anything else you wanted to throw out there, Pike?
You were going to talk about ELC season starting March 1st.
Right. Yeah, I mentioned it earlier. Today is the first day that teams can now sign prospects or players in general to contracts that will start to take effect next season. We saw, as we mentioned earlier, Ryden Evers from Penticton sign as an undrafted free agent with Seattle. We saw Vegas prospect Alex Weiermeyer sign.
That's a fun name.
Nice. Oh, he's good.
Weiermeyer.
Yeah. He's been pretty great. He speaks like 3 languages too.
Ooh. If you're a Flames fan, I'm not telling tales out of school when I say that they really like Axel Hurtig, the captain of the Calgary Hitmen. I don't know if that's something that happens immediately, but I think that's something that would potentially be something that both player and organization would be very interested in having a discussion about. So I think that would be it. And then we mentioned this on Saturday's post-game program. Collegiate players, though, once you sign an NHL deal, you void your NCAA eligibility. So it is something, based on our current understanding of the rules that have yet to be challenged in court, because they have AHL and ECHL players who are still eligible for college, but no one who's signed an NHL deal is able to go, we think. We'll figure it out later. But based on our current understanding, anyone in college who signs voids their eligibility. So none of the college players that you were thinking of will sign, at the very least, until their college seasons are over. So if you're going, I wonder when the Flames will try to sign Abram Wiebe. But the answer is when North Dakota's out, and North Dakota is one of the better teams in the country, and they're almost definitely going to be a high seed in the NCAA national tournament, which starts in early April. So the answer is you got at least a month to wait. So a month until Wiebe and or Kolresny could become possibilities. But we'll see what happens in between there, because we're going to start seeing teams wrap up, and we're going to see European teams start winding down their seasons and collegiate teams, and we're going to get into the fun chaos. Probably, I would imagine we probably hear more of that chaos after the trade deadline transpires, but you never know. The Central Registry, they're already there anyway. You might as well give them something to do while they wait for trades.
Absolutely. It's good stuff. And if you want to look ahead, also a couple of drafts. Landon DuPont had a goal and a couple assists tonight as his Everett Silvertips got their 50th win of the season. Second time in team history they've done it. And the last time they did it was back when the league still played a 72-game schedule. So DuPont's looking real good again this year. Didn't get the win in Calgary. First time playing in the Saddle Dome in his hometown, but they look good. They'll be going for their first ever WHL championship, Dustin Wolf's old team. So keep your eyes on Landon still for sure.
And cheap plug, my buddy lives in Regina and always tells me how good Maddox Schultz has been this year. He's a 2010. He is a baby.
I mean,
he was playing against Hunter Lang and the Saskatoon Blades yesterday. 2 goals and an assist in a 6-3 home win for the Pats over the Blades. He's another player that, I don't know, if you're looking to maybe cash in on your team being not especially great the next couple of years, there are a couple of drafts with the players that are playing in your backyard that are pretty good, that maybe if you're a fan, you want to go out of your way to check out. And if you're a hockey organization looking to draft players and improve your hockey club in the medium term, maybe these are names you want to circle and check out.
Actually, first, Maddox Schultz is the second youngest player in the internet era, because that is when digital records exist. That in 1996 that goes back to. Second youngest player to score a hat trick in the league. Gavin McKenna beat him by a few weeks.
Damn you, McKenna. Yeah, this is some pretty decent players.
In the hospital with a fucked up jaw. Ooh, we really strayed from our original topic.
No, we're still there. We're still there. So, in summation, the Flames cannot sign Maddox Schultz or Landon DuPont for a while, but if they're fortunate enough to potentially draft them in coming years, then March 1st would be the day that they could do it for contract to begin the other season, so that we don't have to get into a long circular conversation about the slide rule, because yeah, we don't need to get into that today.
No, we don't. We don't. We need to get out of this. It is time to go to bed, folks. Oh, but it was a great game. Hopefully we get some more of these, whether your team tank or team try to get every win you can. There's a lot to love about this one. 3-2 the final. Devin Cooley, not named one of the 3 stars of the game, should have been. He was absolutely fantastic. Kadri looked great. Calgary's 10-game point streak in Anaheim win streak in Anaheim comes to an end. But love the Barn Burner boys. Break it down for you some more. Flames back in action on Tuesday night. Have a good one, buddies.